The video for February 5th, 2017 is entitled My Future, Our Future. We only have now. Nevertheless, we have the ability to see time as past, present, and future. This is something I don't think animals experience. This I know. After a full year since my home was stolen by PNC Bank and the crooked, complicit court and sheriff's department, I am finally going to be moving into my own place in the coming week. For that, I am truly grateful. As I ponder what lies in humanity's future, I want to be optimistic. Even though most people are still under the brainwashing spell of the so-called elite, many have awakened to the awful truth that our life experience has been manipulated for a long time, many, many lifetimes, in fact. This awakening, this realization has the potential of greatly altering the human experience. As we learn the truth, I think many will commit suicide, unable to handle the often horrific revelations. I can sum it up by saying that we will experience interesting times, according to the Chinese curse. However, I'm hoping we will be moving to the blessing side of those times. Indeed, I am really relieved to be finally getting my own place, because my son and I, though we love each other, as I've said in so many videos, our lifestyles are not even, they're not even closely the same. I mean, as I've said, he's a person that, I think I got up the other night, in the middle of the night, 4:30 or something, and he was still watching TV. He was home, but watching TV. And I've got to be so quiet in the morning because he sleeps till, noonish. It might be a little less, it might be a little more most times, but that's the general pattern, not the absolute, because sometimes there are exceptions if he has something to do earlier in the day. In any case, I'm going to be in my own place and living in my own apartment, so I won't have to worry about waking up my son or bothering him when I'm doing my videos and trying to be extra quiet when I have to go to the bathroom or whatever. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to what's going to be happening in humanity's future. I really think that we're on the verge of something positive. Of course, I've thought that for many years now, but it can't be getting further away. It has to be getting closer because we're moving in the time into the future, becoming the present, and it's getting closer and closer and closer to the day of reckoning. And I do believe that there has to be a day of reckoning. There has to be a time when those who have committed atrocious acts against humanity, I'm talking about government people, I'm talking about the banking organizations that are basically centered in the city of London, I'm talking about the terrorist attacks that have been fomented by the nation of Israel and by Washington, D.C., which is basically Israel and Washington, D.C. are in cahoots with each other, as is the media. The mainstream media is in cahoots with the Zionist movement. And again, I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about real Jews, and I'm not even talking about Ashkenazi Jews, many of whom have good hearts and don't even know that they are not traced back to the biblical times, if any of them ever were. Some say that the whole story in the Bible is nothing but fiction. I have read so much and listened to so much that I'm not even sure anymore, but it doesn't matter, because what does matter is that the main rule, love one another, still stands. And those that have been running the world do not love one another. They run off of hate. They run off of deception. They run off of a power-mongering system and ideology that allows them to do atrocious acts of cruelty all over the world. And regardless of what you believe about the Holocaust, there are pictures of all the bodies and stuff like that that died. So there was a Holocaust. even though there are people that try to undermine it and say it wasn't real, and I suspect that they are. Again, some of them, it's not a matter of them trying to tell the truth. It's a matter of them trying to create confusion. And they've done a very good job of creating confusion in the human family. We don't know what is true and what isn't, what is real and what isn't. We question everything, and I think that perhaps that's a good thing that we're starting to question. Although there are some people that still want to hang on to the beliefs that have been handed down to them generation after generation in their family lineage, and they don't question anything that has to do with religion. They don't question anything that has to do with the political realities of our world and how the world is so supposedly governed. But the truth is, and it's obvious, that people, especially those that don't go along with the systematic programming, we see how horrendous people have been treated. We see how Europeans treated the natives that lived in the Americas when they first came here. We see how they continue even into the present day and age to mistreat Africans and mistreat those in third world countries. We see what they did in Libya. We see what they have done in Venezuela. We see all of this crime that has been committed all over the world, and these are the same people that have been doing the criminal acts and behind the criminal acts, and it's all been motivated by a power, lust for power that is absolutely out of control. And it's time that we wake up. But as I said in the blurb, there are those that when they finally are faced with the truth are not going to want to live. They're going to want to commit suicide because everything they've lived for has been a lie, and they just can't accept the reality of truth, the reality that we are here to help one another, to build one another up, not to tear down. Their whole game plan has been to tear down, tear down, tear down. It's time to reverse the flow of energy. That's called an anti-adromia, reverse flow of energy. And it's time that we experience that. It's time that we move beyond the curse into the blessing. We have experienced and witnessed historically and in our personal lives, many of us, we have experienced the curse. It's time to experience the blessing. It's time for everything to be turned around. It's time for I don't want to say the dominance of good, because dominance is the wrong word. Dominance indicates that there has to be somebody enslaved. It's not about dominance. It's about liberation. It's about uncovering the veil and taking off the blinders that we've had put over our eyes. It's about awakening to the reality that we are all interconnected. Whether we want to believe that or not, we are all interconnected, even with the demonic element. There has to be a connection there. Either God is all in all or God is not God. And I do believe that the prime creator, whatever that is, has to be encompassing all things, all beings, everything, nothing excluded. And we have to get back to that realization and know that if we fight against what is, we ultimately are fighting against ourselves. And it's not a pretty picture where that road leads us. We have seen that picture over and over again with the terrible, terrible inhumanity to inhumanity that has gone on generation after generation, as I said, multiple lifetimes, going back even millennia. And I do hope and pray that our future is a bright future, that we finally are able to put aside all of the corruption and move into a time of great blessing and great prosperity for all of humanity that is willing to embrace the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But someone said, first it'll piss you off. Well, hopefully the pissed off element is coming to an end. Thank you for listening, and namaste.